Alright, hello math fans. Today we're going to cover multiplying polynomials. Alright, so let's do some basic things first here. We've already distributed, like if I just said 3 parentheses 2x plus 7. Okay, we've done that before, where you multiply the 3 times the 2x and the 3 times 7. So basically the number that's on the outside of the parentheses gets multiplied by everything in the inside of the parentheses. So it's 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times 7 is 21. And that's your answer to that problem. All right, that's pretty easy schmeezy. Let's throw a variable in there now, and that's where it's a little bit more difficult. So let's kind of, even before we do that, let's just kind of review. If I said x times x, remember you add the exponents, so it's going to be x squared. It's not 2x squared because it's really a 1 and a 1 in front of here, and you're saying 1 times 1 is 1, x to the first times x to the first is x squared. Alright, so it's you just need to remember you have to add the exponents when you multiply. Now you don't have to worry about like terms here. The only thing you have to worry about is like variables. Alright, so if I had like x squared times x cubed, I can multiply those together. It's only you can't add them together. So x squared times x cubed is x to the 5th. Okay, but if I said x squared plus x cubed, you should know that you can't simplify. Alright, you can't simplify that because they're not like terms. But multiplying, you can put them together. Now, same thing, if I said x cubed times y to the 4th, I can't put those together because they don't have the same letter. These need to be the same to multiply. And then, of course, to add the exponents. Alright, so, 2x squared times 5x to the 3rd, it's 2 times 5 is 10. X squared times x to the 3rd is x to the 5th. That's your answer to that problem. Okay. All right. So let's do a few more distributing problems that have variables involved here. Okay. So if I have x times 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. Again, this is a 1 in front of here because we're going to do stuff with more than just x, but you're basically distributing to all 3 of these terms. So 1x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. 1x times 3x is plus 3x squared. And 1x times negative 1 is minus x. And that's your answer. And notice, math fans, this is in descending order. It's biggest exponent to the smallest exponent. Okay, it needs to be in that order in your final answer. Okay, so let's try a couple more. If I said 2y squared times 5y cubed minus 6y squared plus 4y minus 8. Alright, so I'm going to distribute that 2y squared to every term. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I lost one. There we go. I lost one there. Okay, so you're going to distribute it to all 4 terms. So 2 times 5 is 10, y to the 5th, because you add the exponents. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, y to the 4th. 2 times 4 is plus 8, y squared times y is y cubed. And 2y squared times negative 8 is negative 16y squared. And that's your answer. That's all you do for distributing. It's actually pretty easy. You just have to, I would say probably the hardest part of this whole thing is the signs. Alright, so let's try one that's got a few more nasty signs, and then we'll move on. If I said negative 3x cubed times 5x to the 4th minus 2x squared minus 6x plus 1. Okay, so it's negative 3 times 5 is negative 15, x to the 7th, negative 3x cubed minus 2x, or times negative 2x squared, because remember, it's all multiplication here, guys. So that gives you plus 6x to the fifth. Negative 3 times negative 6 is plus 18x to the fourth. And negative 3x cubed times 1 is negative 3x cubed. That's your answer. All right, so that's pretty easy. That's just distributing. Okay, so let's, and if you notice, it's a monomial times a polynomial. Okay, so it's a monomial times more than one term, and that's how you do it with one term. Let's do it where you have more than one term. All right, so we're actually going to do a binomial times a binomial. So let me give you an example. X plus 3 and x minus 7. Okay, so this is the deal. Just like when you had a monomial, you multiplied that monomial by everything inside of the parentheses after that. You will multiply everything in this parenthesis by everything in this parenthesis. So I'm going to basically say x times negative 7. Then 3x times, or 3 times x and 3 times negative 7. I'm going to do four multiplications. And there's a kind of a fancy way to help you remember how to do this and give you a good pattern. It's called the FOIL method. And this ensures that you multiply everything correctly, and it just has a pattern to it. So FOIL, let me write it out here this way. So FOIL stands for the first term. And if I look at, let me write this again here, x plus 3, x minus 7. So here's the first term, math fans. It's the first term in each parenthesis. So the x and the x, that's first term. And then you have the outer term. And these are the outer terms. It's just the outside. The negative 7 and the x, that's outer. Inner are the two inside terms. And last are the last terms in here. So the 3 and this negative 7. The last terms. Just like first was the x and the x, last is the last terms inside the parentheses. Okay? So notice when I said you had to multiply everything from the first set of parentheses times the second, we did that. Okay, here's the x times the x, here's the x times the negative 7, here's the 3 times the x and the 3 times the negative 7. So if you follow that pattern, you're guaranteed to multiply everything correctly. All right? And again, it doesn't matter that order, but FOIL is just kind of a fun way to remember that. And I'm sure all of you think math is fun. I hope so. Okay, so let's do this problem. We have x times x is x squared. So it's first outer, which is negative 7x, inner plus 3x, and last minus 21. And now we combine like terms. That's our last step. So we did FOIL, and then we combine like terms. And again, please make sure you leave it in descending order. Okay, don't put it in. Don't leave it any other way, because if you do, you're going to lose a point off of that. So we get x squared. Here's our like terms. It's negative 7x plus 3x is negative 4x minus 21. And that's our final answer. Okay, so let's do a couple examples of these guys. If I did 2x plus 5 and x minus 3, and I ask you to multiply, you're going to do FOIL. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. 5 times x is plus 5x. And 5 times negative 3 is minus 15. Okay, these are, most of the time it's going to be those middle terms that you can combine. So you get 2x squared minus x minus 15. That's your answer. All right, pretty easy. Let's try another one. 5x minus 2 and 3x plus 8. All right, 5x times 3x, 15x squared. That's first. Outer plus 40x. Inner minus 6x. And last minus 16. So we combine like terms. We have 15x squared. And we combine these together. So 40x minus 6x is 34x minus 16. That's our answer. Okay, so FOIL is really pretty easy here. So let's see. One last thing is it's something where you have more than just 2 terms times 3 terms, and there's no special way to multiply. So I'm just going to show you, give an example. So if I had x plus 2 times 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. All right, FOIL kind of was nice because, you know, it's just a way to multiply. This is the deal, guys. You're multiplying, just as I told you before, you're multiplying everything inside the first term by everything inside, or in the first set of parentheses by everything in the second set. So that's what you're going to do here, is you're going to actually have 6 times remultiply. So it's x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. X times 5x is plus 5x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 2 times 2x squared is plus 4x squared. 2 times 5x is plus 10x. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Okay, so you see we have all 6 terms here, combined like terms. So, you know, if that helps, that's great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. To circle. So 2x cubed is done. 5x squared plus 4x squared is plus 9x squared. Negative 3x plus 10x is plus 7x minus 6. That's the answer. And notice it's in descending order. 3, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay? Pretty mellow. Now, this is, the book is, or sometimes you even see this. I personally like to put the 2 first and then the 3. So if you're given something like, you know, 3x squared plus x minus 2 times 2x minus 5. You could just, you don't have to rewrite it, because you can just say 3 times that, and 3x squared times that, and x times that, and negative 2, negative 2. It doesn't really matter. I personally like to put the smaller one in front. So 2x minus 5 and 3x squared plus x minus 2. Kind of like that a little bit better. And then you multiply it out. So it's 2x times 3x squared is 6x cubed. 2x times x is plus 2x squared. And 2x times negative 2 is minus 4x. And then negative 5 times 3x squared is negative 15x squared. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And negative 5 times negative 2 is plus 10. Okay? And then we combine like terms. So I'm going to circle. So we have 6x cubed. 2x squared minus 15x squared is negative 13x squared. And guys, don't make mistakes on adding and subtracting. That's brutal. It really is. Negative 4x minus 5x is negative 9x plus 10. And there's your answer. Okay, so that's it, math fans. That's it for multiplication. It's really not too bad. Just be careful. Make sure you distribute. Make sure you use FOIL. And that's it. All right. Have a good day, math fans. Goodbye.